They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho.
They're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
Hi, everyone. Seth literally just said before the song was over, why does everyone look good except for us?
To see Carolee's lighting, everyone looks stunning. We've been doing this show for 5 months. Our lighting is always like horror movie.
I don't think it looks that bad.
It looks
right
like a
now.
filter,
David's clapping.
No, I look like literally like a 1920s, like a sepia tone. I don't understand why we can't just literally be a normal person. It's bizarre. We can't.
Well, I guess
lighting.
we need to talk to
Carolee, Jimmy, Tom, and Andrew because they all look normal. Anyway, guys, welcome to Starts in the House.
Yes.
I'm Seth. This is James. We've been going on since March. We are a daily fundraiser for the Actors Fund, which is for rich Broadway actors to help get like duplexes and terraces. Okay, what the Actors Fund, it drives me crazy. No one knows what it is. The Actors Fund is not just for actors. It's just a misnomer. The Actors Fund is for anybody in the arts, no matter what you do on stage or off stage, in front of the camera, behind the camera.
all around the country.
And then like things like, agents, ushers, like literally whatever you do in the arts. And you can go to the Actors Fund.
Stage managers.
Stage managers.
We've gotten busted sometimes because we'll say actors and stage managers get upset.
I know, but why? I never see like a lighting designer writing us and saying, "Why don't you mention us?" There's a million different categories. Anybody in the arts can get help. Yeah. And the Actors Fund gives direct cash. You can say, "I can't pay my rent," which, by the way, Stephanie J. Block told us 2 nights ago she couldn't pay her rent, and she went to the Actors Fund and they gave her rent money. You can't pay your doctor's bills, your health insurance. They will actually give you the cash. So, and they also have webinars, where to help you navigate insurance because people are losing their health insurance. And I think I just read that they're also literally having for jobs. Seminar. Seminars for how to get jobs. People to get jobs. Well, so they just help in any single. They have something also called the Shoe Fund, which I'm obsessed with. Jimmy Smith said that. Right, Jimmy Smith said that. Where they think that if you want to look good for a job interview, and if you have horrible shoes, they will literally give you new shoes. I mean, they're just a great organization. So obviously, they're in incredible need right now because nobody in the arts is working except for like 10 people. So everyone's going to them for help. So that's where we've been raising money. It's very easy to donate. That's right. Go to starsinthehouse.com. Or you can text Fund 2020 to 56512, and then you'll get your receipt, and you will forward it. That's my dog. Sorry, I keep going. So you're going to get a receipt. You're going to forward it where? To donation. Is it I've already forgotten. Donations at starsinthehouse.com. Donations, because some people are still sending it to our old email. So that's we have like longtime viewers that keep sending it to the old email, which is at AOL. Not really. But the point is, don't send it to the old email. It's donations at starsinthehouse.com. As soon as you send it, we're going to make a little list, and then we're going to forward it to one of our stars tonight. Carolee promises to sing your donations on an E in the mask with vibrato. So send your... Or as Dolly Levi, since we didn't get to see her in Rochester. Yeah, we were going to see her in March. Yeah, we were planning. Yeah, my show got canceled in March, and then so did hers. It was double cancellation. Devastating. But wait a minute. Texting? Did you say that? Yeah, I said text. Okay. Listen to this, though. And by the way, and subscribe if you can. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us get celebs. But and also I texted with some folks at Americans for the Arts, and even though the Senate has left, the House has left, they're on vacation. They're on vacation because why not in August when there's a pandemic? But the stimulus bill, no, it has not passed. But they said that it is still important to contact our reps, your rep in Congress, wherever you are, senators, and they make it so easy. Go to starsinthehouse.com and there's an action alert. It'll say action alert, ! And you go there, and Americans for the Arts has made it really easy to send a letter to your representative. And they did say that they do check them. Yeah. During the recess. The representatives do, because the arts have to be in the stimulus bill, because Broadway will survive. I mean, yes, it will survive. But these small theaters around the country, they're not going to survive. They make their money like from ticket sales or no ticket sales. These small theaters in little towns and cities and community theaters, they're going to just go away forever. Right. So it has to be part of the stimulus bill. So there it is. Starsinthehouse.com for the action alert. Anything else? And the last thing before we bring everyone on, the last 2 nights with the Broadway fans of the Cher Show and Newsies, they came through. They turned it out. Oh my gosh. So many donations. But before I read what the total is,
I want to read this letter because so many people still donate after the show is over, and they'll forward the donation. But this particular person was really sweet. It's the power of theater, I think. Aaron said, I know that the live stream is over now, but I still wanted to send a message. At age 12, my mother suddenly died from multiple brain aneurysms. Newsies is what got me through that time. Wow. This year, I finally got to be in Newsies as Roosevelt and Morris Delancey, and then it got canceled due to COVID. This reunion makes things a little bit better, though, and thank you for hosting. That was really nice.
I just love that. And I love this, by the way. Someone just commented, my godfather's a freelance double bass player in Chicago. Love what you guys are doing for the Actors Fund. Yeah, you're freelance double bass player. There's nothing to freelance. There's nothing going on. It's like there's no income. So Actors Fund is really helping people.
So Seth, before we bring everyone on, our new total, and it's a huge total.
I got to put my dog's cone on. She keeps licking this one.
Well, I'll do the cone here.
Okay.
$442,185. That's right. We'll
be late. Just showing off. Okay,
all right, you want to bring everyone on while I get the cone?
I think I have to go. Poor man, it's just this little tiny cut right here, and she keeps licking it, and then it gets worse. We got her this cone. It's not really an e-collar. It basically looks like she's taking a vacation. Here, show it. Because she wears it around her neck. I'm
constantly making fun of her because it looks like she's going to go on a plane trip.
She wears it around her neck, and it's like she just got through, got through TSA, and she's like going to the plane. She just went away. She doesn't like wearing it. I'll put it on.
Go ahead and introduce everyone while I do this.
All right, so we have a reunion of John and Jen. We have the creative team and the two stars themselves. Please welcome Tom Greenwald, Mr. Lyrics and Writing. Co-writing. Hi, Tom.
What's up, Seth? How are you?
It's all good. Please welcome composer and co-story. Am I correct? Andrew Lippa. Yeah. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Seth. How are you?
You're so much taller than Tom. What's up with that?
I don't know. I mean, David and I ran through it. I can untall if you want.
I don't know. Just even it up. And then John himself.
Is that better? That's better.
Okay. Tom, Mr. James Jimmy Ludwig. Hi, James / Jimmy.
Hi, James. Hi, here we are. This is awesome.
By the way, James, I always call you Jimmy. Do you actually go by Jimmy? Have I been offending you all these years?
No. Jimmy is what everybody calls me, and James is what equity is. So it's that's what goes in programs, So
just want to make sure that
I always know who knows me because they say Jimmy, and everyone else is like James. I'm like, you don't know me.
I didn't want you to be seething this entire weekend. Okay, here we go. And finally, I call her Carol, but she goes by Carolee. Hi, Carolee.
Hi, everybody.
Wait, the dogs are going. Sorry, we have so many dogs. I think you better let Bagel. We have 4 dogs. So
4 dogs. That's impressive.
And a kitty cat. All right, so we're talking John and Jen start to finish. So whose germ of the idea was it? Who called whom? Tom, did you call Andrew? Andrew called Tom. What happened?
Tom was the germ.
I was the germ. We probably shouldn't talk about germs right about now, but actually the pre-germ was friends of Andrew's and mine who wanted to put on a 2-person show, and they brought a play to us that didn't spark our fancy, but the idea of a 2-person show did spark our fancy. So I wrote a bunch of ideas down on a sheet of paper, a couple of lyric ideas, maybe 10 pages. Andrew and I call each other Billy, just so everybody knows.
It's going to be confusing.
Basically, it's important to have it. So Billy, I think it was about 10 pages. And
I thought it was longer. It seems longer. But anyway, 10, 40, whatever.
And he said, this is interesting. Let's try to figure it out. And that was the beginning of the journey. It was a 1-act. It was a 10-minute piece. Then it was a 1-act. Then it was a full-length evening. And it all started in 1991 or 2.
But how did you clowns know each other in the first place if you were talking about doing a show together?
We were in the BMI Musical Theater Workshop together. And Tom was a composer and lyricist. Tom's a wonderful composer and wrote several shows before we met as a composer lyricist. And in those days, I only wrote music. And we got the opportunity to write a song together in the BMI Musical Theater Workshop. And I kind of tackled him in the room. And they let us pick somebody you like. And I'm like, And because he had written this amazing song that I'm not going to sing for you now, but called Sprinkles, that I'll never forget. And it was so moving and beautiful and human. And I said, we should work together. And we started writing shows together. And then Jeffrey Seller, the co-producer of Hamilton and many other successful shows, Jeffrey and my lifelong friend, Jeffrey produced a show at Congregation Rodef Shalom on the Upper West Side in 1989, based on a play by a friend of ours from college. And Tom and I wrote this into a musical, and it was our first production in New York before John and Jen.
Wow. Oh, I love it. It's so connected. Okay, so James/Jimmy, how did you hear about John and Jen? Was it offer only, or did you actually show up with your 16 bars?
So this is a great story because this show got me my equity card.
Oh my God.
I got to New York in May of 1993, and I had been here, I don't know, probably about a month, because maybe a little bit less. I think the auditions were late May. I had gotten an agent from my showcase, my grad school showcase, and guys, I was so green. And I remember the audition very well because I hadn't done that many auditions at this point. And Andy, you stopped me in the middle of a song, and you didn't like hold up your hands or be like, thanks for 1 second. You did like a conductor wave. All I saw was this hand reached up and did like this. And I was like, did that? Okay. And you just sort of waved me out. And then you asked me to sing something different and to change some things. And I was like, in my mind, I'm just going 100 miles a minute going, what did I do? Is this wrong? Am I, is this bad? I haven't done any auditions. I don't even know what this means. And then a couple weeks later, I think in June, we were at Chester at Goodspeed. And I was doing my first professional show, which was
I thought I grew into my pretentiousness, but apparently I had it all along.
Wait, you totally waved me out.
But by the way, Andrew, I totally stand by what you're doing, because it actually reminds me of me. It's like, I totally heard that was amazing. Like, why not? You weren't saying you're bad. You're like, I want to hear more. I can hear this.
It was great. I had no idea what was happening. I didn't know how to process any of it. So it was great. And then I got a chance to like learn how to be a pro at the hip of Carolee Carmello, which is like, I mean, that's a life-changing thing right there.
Sideshow. By the way, Jimmy, I have a recollection of maybe doing a reading with you. Did we do Thoroughly Modern Millie together?
We did. You remember? That was the one Dick had. It was a very early version that Dick Sandlin had helped put together. Christine Baranski played Muzzy.
Yeah. Amanda Naughton was Millie.
Yes. That's who I was trying to think of. That's right. I don't remember what year that was, but
I think Edward Hibbard was Mrs. Mia.
He was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's a long time ago, but that's like 1993. Okay, Carolee Carmello, I would say, hi there. I would want to say you came off the road from Chess. This is early 90s. Maybe you had just done, what was that show at Goodspeed you did? That
Arthur?
Right, Arthur. So was it right after that? And how'd you get the gig? Were you cut off mid-song also?
You know what? You guys are going to have to help me because I really don't remember. I remember doing all of the readings and everything that led up to Off-Broadway, but I don't remember the audition. Do you guys know? I don't
Andrew?
know.
Sure.
You were amazing. It was an amazing audition.
Jim Ludwig, I didn't do this.
Well, Andrew, did you know Carolee's work? I knew Carolee's work. I had a bootleg of Chess, the tour. That's how I was obsessed with you. Did you know her work, Andrew?
Carol, if I got my years right, you had just done Hello Again at Lincoln Center, or you were doing Hello Again at Lincoln Center. Wasn't that right around when we did the show at the Goodspeed? Or maybe we did the Goodspeed first and then you did Hello Again.
That's right, because Hello Again was later.
Hold on. Wait, by the way, Tom, just everybody, I keep forgetting to say, nobody can talk at the same time as anybody else, or else all sound stops. So the most amazing things keep being said and then cut off. And I'm like panicking because there's no translation. So wait, Tom, what did you just say?
I thought was falsettos before that.
No. Wait. No.
I think that's right.
Guys,
you
You
know, it's
had
like,
also just done, Carolee, hadn't you done, because I don't, the only reason I remember this is that I looked at the Goodspeed website the other day, but was it Das Barbecue?
I did Das Barbecue off Broadway, but not up
Not a good speed.
Good Speed. I did Arthur twice up at Good Speed.
This is basically like 5 old people talking about the past. It's just like, I get it. 55 years have passed. Anyways, but the point is, so Carolee, what happened? Do you remember the first day of rehearsal? What did you get the score in advance? Like, how'd you get the role? Like, phone call?
The most sort of vivid memory I have is that after we had done whatever it was, 3 or 4 years of trying to get the show to New York and doing readings and doing Good Speed and all those things, then I got a call in 1995 from our director, Gabriel Barry, saying, guess what? The Lambs wants to do the show. We're coming to New York. And I was like, I'm pregnant.
That's right.
And then I started to cry, and he was like, well, maybe we can, how pregnant are you? And I was like, well, so they were kind enough to let me start the show, and they, sort of prepared for my pregnancy by giving me costumes that were sort of loose fitting. And when the point came that I couldn't hide it anymore, that's when I had to step out, and Michelle Paulk came in.
Yeah. The way we used to say the title back then was John and Jen.
That's a hilarious line reading.
Okay, Carolee and Jimmy, I have a question. As an actor, it's like, it's one thing when you're in a show and there's so many other people and scenes, and if you're having kind of an off day, you know how backstage you can just tell yourself, you know what, there's a lot of other people who can be here and help out. But if it's just the two of you, like, was it a different pressure?
I never felt that. I always felt like we were, really good at bolstering each other. Jimmy used to say hi to my baby backstage in my tummy every night before we went on stage.
Yep.
We didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, so we would say, hi, little Zoe or
yeah, you
Spencer.
had the names.
I think it was Spencer if it was going to be a boy.
That's right, Zoe and Spencer. I will tell one story about that, which was that another thing Carolee Carmello taught me was the resilience, right, and work ethic. No one works harder than Carolee, and she would come in like we were, stretching out, getting warmed up, getting ready for the show, whatever, and she'd be like, I'm a little under tonight, so I'm a little under. So I might not sing out as much, and then she would sing my face off.
Yeah. Carolee, you've never been under. We don't buy it here.
No. Maybe
There's
I was
no under.
the pregnancy.
I mean, look who's watching. Kevin, I love the show. So honored and proud to have been the press agent for the New York premiere.
Hey, Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
So talk to me. How did you guys come up with the idea? Like, was it based? I know, Andrew, you were in Vietnam, but was there any other impetus?
I had bone spurs.
You were the first. So yeah, how did you guys come up with the idea?
The only thing that was relevant to the play that these other people had shown us was that the kid was a soldier and he died at the end. I think he died at the end. I can't remember actually.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, well, first act actually. But in the initial version of the show, which was 10 minutes long, if you know the show, the first song and Hold Down the Fort and the last song were the entire show. That was pretty much the first incarnation of the show. Billy, correct me if I'm wrong. So we had the idea of a brother and a sister, and the sister would go off and become a hippie, and the brother would go off and become a soldier, and that was kind of it. And neither one of us, I had no relatives that went to Vietnam. My father was the greatest guy in the world, and Andrew, I think, would say the same about his father. So there's no biographical or autobiographical information or material in this show, other than the fact that I had an older brother, Andrew had an older sister. So we knew what it was like to be siblings, but we certainly didn't know what it was like to be mothers. And the entire second act is about a mother and a son. So looking back on it, we were winging it in our early 30s. And I don't quite know why we came up with the story or how we developed it. These things happen and you look back and you go, I have no idea what happened there. But the germ of the idea was those three moments: the sister welcoming a younger brother to the world, a sister going to college and leaving him behind, and the son and the brother and the sister fighting about her going to Canada while he goes off to war.
It's also worth noting, if I can just piggyback onto that, Tom, the idea, because I've seen a lot of young writers over the years, and I work with a lot of young writers now. I mean, I've been doing this for about 30 years, and the people along the route who you trust, like these brilliant actors, or Carol and Rossi Copeland, who came on as our lead producer at The Lambs, or Gabriel Barry, who wanted to direct the show, people whose opinions you believe in, or Jeffrey Seller, who had been incredibly supportive of the show when we were very young together. And so they say, keep going, keep developing your show. And so we kept developing our show. There are some times where you see people developing shows and you hope, you don't want to be that person, but you hope somebody says to them, or they say to themselves, I think we should move on to the next one. Maybe this one is not gonna, be the one that we get produced. Maybe we learned a lot and we should go to the next thing. And Tom and I were quite prepared for that. We were prepared to say we did a version of the show and we self-produced it. That was another thing that I think was important for us, because it was just a 2-actor show. We were able to pull together the team. We had the wonderful Wendy Bobbitt originally was the music director, and Lady Graham, and Jason Robert Brown was the orchestrator, both for he went on to something. I think he did a few things.
And he's in the business.
So it's really kind of amazing, the artists to become part of a family of a show. And for us later, we did the 20-year reunion with Connor Ryan and Kate Baldwin and at the Keene Company. And that was also a joyful sort of gathering of artists who say, hey, we think this is good. And that kind of support that we give each other, we do this all the time. That's what this program is about. Giving that kind of support to each other is really important, because I know from my young writing life, that's what told me, hey, maybe I could make this my career. Maybe I could do this. And so I kept going and I wrote The Wild Party next. And so that's how you get a career to happen, is in part by people telling you, hey, keep going.
Well, I was gonna say, it's just interesting at one point, because you're talking about, you don't want to be the person that says maybe the show isn't gonna go anywhere, but I don't know, I guess I believe that no show is never gonna go anywhere, because so many amazing shows were horrible. Like, you got a chorus line the first reading, it was like 5 hours, and Hello Dolly. So I feel like, I don't think one can ever say that to anybody. It's really the skill set of the person writing it to turn a horrible show into something good.
And I remember I have a memory when we were in rehearsal in Goodspeed, because the second act was basically brand new at that point. Guys had written it very recently, and the final number wasn't set. I remember that because while we were there, maybe right before or while we were there, you guys wrote The Road Moves On, which is like her big 11 o'clock number. And the first time Carolee sang it, I can remember in the rehearsal room the first time you sang it when we had fully staged it and we did it and just wrecked everybody. That was like one of those moments where we sort of watched the genesis of this moment in the show and was like, yeah, that'll do. That's good. Yeah, because we're just wrecked. We were all on the floor.
So cool to be part of a show from scratch. It's so exciting.
Tom, tell everyone, because it's really ingenious how speaking of the first act into the second act, of what, for people who don't know the show, it's really pretty brilliant of the switching of the roles there a little bit. So can you explain what happens in the second act without giving too much away?
Yeah, Great Garden stole your act.
That was, I think, the most important moment in the development of the show, was figuring out how to turn what was originally 10 act and then a 10-minute show. And then I think ultimately it was 30 minutes when we did it for fun at the Goodspeed Philly in 91 or 2, whenever that was.
92.
And then we put our heads together and we got some encouragement, as Andrew said, much encouragement along the way. And people were like, turn this into a full-length evening. And we like, if you look at the end of the first act, you will know why it's difficult. It was a difficult question without spoiling it. But I think, and Gabe Barry is part of this conversation, God knows, when we hit on the idea to turn her into the mother of a boy and name him John and have the same actor play her son, who had played her brother in the first act. I think that all happened in one night. I really do. I think all those decisions kind of happened in one night at Andrew's apartment. And then kind of everything else fell into place. And we thought we had come up with something that probably hadn't been done before in terms of a 2-actor, 3-character show with one of the actors playing the same part the whole way, and the other actor playing first her brother and then her son. It seemed new.
That's you.
Carolee, you in the back of the class, I think you have a...
No, I was just saying I was the person playing the same person. And he was the person playing the 2 people.
He got the equity hazard pay.
I think this was my biggest age range, and I've been lucky enough to play some big age ranges, but this was from 6 to like 46, something like that.
Yeah,
exactly. That
was pretty fun.
Carolee, check your cell phone. I just sent you some donations to read out loud.
Oh,
I love it.
Have to put on my glasses for that.
Yes, guys, keep donating. It's so delicious. All the money, there's no overhead. It all goes directly to the Actors Fund, which then goes to people in all aspects of the arts that need their rent paid.
So we have $25 from Alexa. I think I know which Alexa that is. Rhonda from San Francisco, $25. Thank you so much, Rhonda. And then William from Idaho sent a big message here. It says, "Dear Stephen James." I think it means Stephen James.
Oh, must be voice to text. Yes.
I was recently on your show with Frozen. After that show, a month later, the airlines started letting people go, and I was one of them. I now work for Amazon and continue to watch your shows. You have helped me so much through the in-between job period, and I can only imagine what the actors are going through. So the $100 I donated today is in tribute to you too. Thank you for all you do. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, William. Jamie from Ohio, $51. Thank you so much, Jamie. And Kerry from California, $250.
Whoa.
And it says, Seth and James, thank you so much for what you're doing to help everyone who's suffering with no jobs right now. That's true. You guys are amazing.
That's so nice. That nice guy that donated worked for the airlines. We wanted him on to talk about people wearing masks on the plane and what it was like. And then we surprised him with Josh Gad because he's obsessed with Frozen.
Well, and actually, yeah, it was really moving. And it's actually partly Andrew's fault that I'm back in New York, or came back to New York.
Yeah, he's the Texan.
And met this one here. And it wouldn't have happened because because I was so inspired by Andrew Lippa's The Wild Party.
Oh yeah, he played Burrs in
Texas, and Andrew came. But when I saw it at Manhattan Theater Club, it always stuck with me as one of my favorite shows I'd ever seen in New York. And I had, after 9/11, I had said, what's the point of being an actor? And I left New York early, much earlier than I thought. I'd only been here for a few years. And I moved to Texas, and I got really depressed. And then I saw, and I thought, who cares about being an actor? It's not important. The arts isn't important. I'll be like go in the medical field. And I went and saw Kiss of the Spider Woman at this small theater, Uptown Players in Dallas. And it was really amazing. And I was inspired. And then I saw the audition for The Wild Party, and I had not with Andrew's show. And I was like,
so that brought you back to theater? I didn't even know that.
It was Andrew's show.
Oh, wow. Andrew.
And then Andrew came. And then Andrew.
I remember that. I remember seeing you, and I remember meeting you, and I remember that production. That's a great story, though. I didn't know that whole story, James.
I didn't know. And then Andrew, you said, I know somebody in New York you should marry. Not really. Let's just say,
just leave everything to me.
Exactly.
But it was Andrew's brilliance with writing the show that got me back into it. And then I did one show after another, and I thought I'd have to move back to New York, which I did 2 years later. And then I met this one like 4 or 5 months later.
The rest is history.
So thank you, Andrew, for being brilliant.
Well, thank you for that story, and that's amazing. And again, you guys, this show is incredible. And also, I think it's worth mentioning, just if for 1 second, I read only a few hours ago, our friend Howell Binkley passed away today. And for those of you watching, if you've seen anything, you've seen Howell's lighting designs somewhere. If not Hamilton, which you probably all have seen by now. but so many other shows. And I got the chance to work with Howell. And yes, thank you, Deborah, R.I.P. He was the most joyful man, and he was just an artist and an extraordinary man. So much love to his family and his colleagues and friends.
Yeah, he did so much lighting. Okay, so hold on. I know Jimmy Ludwig, you're going to do a song from the show. We have some music tonight. Can you describe what the song is for the audience that has not seen John and Jen?
Yeah, hold on. Let me open up my phone so I can get the accompaniment ready. Which you very quickly threw together, Seth. Thank you so much.
You know how panicked I was knowing I was going to be playing with Andrew listening? I literally kept stopping and starting. I was like, he's going to judge my... Anyway, whatever. Go.
So I won't judge you. I won't judge.
Body language. Okay, continue, Jimmy.
It took me a while, which is in the first act, this is John, the brother, who Jen has gone away to college and she's become a hippie, and she's left John at home with their father, who is an abusive man, and with no one to sort of stand in the way anymore, with no defender there, even though John sort of begs her to stay, but she can't. She has to go. He kind of bends in the direction of his father. He sort of becomes a different person, and this is the song where he reveals to her in a letter. I think in the show it's a letter that his plan for how he's going to make his mark in the world.
And just on a side note, it's really interesting writing because you're watching someone who thinks he's making this amazing choice, but you as an audience, you're like, oh my God, you're so in denial. Like, it's such an uncomfortable thing to watch. Mm-hmm. And it's like real life when someone's like, I'm marrying this guy. And you're like, oh my God, he's abusive. Like, it's very reminiscent of that. So it's excellent writing on the part of Tom and Andrew. Still got it. Jimmy, let's see if you still got it after 30 years. Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay. It took me a while to realize it was good you went away. I've discovered something new about myself every day. I remember my first day of high school. I looked for you, but you weren't there, so I went inside all by myself. And guess what? I didn't care. It took me a while to realize that I could hold down the fort. A man can't get too far in this world leaning on his sister for support. One time when I came home, Dad was mad because I ran from a fight. He yelled at me to be a man. And next time, boy, I stayed. Since that day, I've never been afraid. I've thought about our deal and if I'd ever follow through. But now I'm finally ready. You'd better keep your end up, 'cause I'll still be watching you when I'm gone. It took me a while to realize what it was I wanted to be. Dad says he thinks I'd make a good soldier, and in 6 months I'll finally make him proud of me. I'm gonna join the Navy, gonna fly a jet. I haven't really talked about it yet. I guess that means that you're the first to know. Love always, John.
Just like the record.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That was pretty something.
What does it feel like to sing that again, Jimmy?
So good. this music is the music and the lyrics. This is a special show. This is a show that you guys put together something glorious, and it happened in this beautiful, small, sort of incredible way. And one thing that's been so wonderful for me is just to watch the life this show has had over the years. I mean, it just gets done and done and done and done. And it should, because you guys crafted it so beautifully. So,
yes. Tom, we have to talk about all your side careers. First of all, it's crazy. Your side hustle.
Well, Andrew went on to write The Wild Party.
Yeah.
The next show I wrote was
You'll find it here.
Still waiting. No. So I went on to a more, I guess, traditional, although still in the theater career, as an advertiser and marketer at Spotco, which is one of the Broadway ad agencies.
One of the biggest, most amazing ones.
Huge.
Yes. But by the way,
and a big supporter of Stars in the House. Thank you, Tom.
Yes.
One of the first people we called.
But the very, very beginning, really, he stepped right up. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And yes, the greatest.
You're not just Tom Greenwald, you're Tommy Greenwald.
Tommy. I am under an alias, Tommy Greenwald. I write.
No one will ever suspect. Yeah, you're a children's author of 1 million books. Talk about your books.
I am. I started writing books about 10 years ago. Nothing I ever thought would ever happen, but my 3 kids, Charlie, Joe, and Jack, none of them liked to read, and I spent years begging them to read, cajoling them to read, bribing them to read. Nothing really worked. So I ended up writing a story about a kid named Charlie Joe Jackson, combining their names, and he was the most reluctant reader in the world. And I just wrote it on a lark, and I pitched it, and I was lucky that the Wimpy Kid series had just kind of taken off, and the marketplace was looking for books that would appeal to reluctant reader boys, and I slipped in at the right time and sold the series, and that's led to kind of a second career for me. So yeah, I've got 20 books out in the marketplace now.
I was going to say, this is just a couple of them.
Oh, cool.
A couple of them. Seth Rudetsky and I were on a panel together. I cajoled him into, because Seth has also written at least 2 books for teens, right?
Yeah, mine are a little old. Yeah, mine's young adult. I always feel like yours is
middle grade and upper middle grade. And I had this idea of doing a panel at Books of Wonder, which is this great children's bookstore in New York City. Shout out to them. Of people who work in the theater and also write children's books. So Seth was my first call, because I think his first young adult book had just come out. Tim Federle was on that panel with us. Paul Rudnick was on that panel with us. 1 or 2 other people who I shamefully forget who. But it was a blast. And there are a number of theater people who do write children's books on the side.
We're just saying. Okay, so hold on, you guys. I don't even know if you know about this, but we have a medical break. Dr. John LaPoo comes on. So everybody take their bathroom break if you guys can. And we're going to talk.
And we'll be back. And there'll be more music.
Yeah, a lot more music. We're going to talk COVID-19 for 2 minutes and then back to John and Jen.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit. And on that note, we will bring up our good friend, Dr. John LaPoo.
Hi, John.
How are you tonight? On Friday night?
I'm going to show you. Hold on. We have something to show you.
Okay.
You're showing me something.
Yep. Yes. In the meantime.
More cake?
No, it's not cake. No, we did not have. No, we don't have cake.
We should talk, though, about what Tony Fauci said today. I think he was in an Instagram interview with the Washington Post. And he said when he sees people in a bar or in a crowded place, and especially when they're not wearing masks, it doesn't just make his blood boil, it makes it evaporate.
Wow.
So let's talk about bars. This has actually been something we're warned specifically about. You guys have never been in a bar, have you?
Actually, I hate drinking, so I've barely ever been in a bar. But
what happens in a bar is that it's first of all, it's loud, right? Right. And you're drinking. So you're not going to have the mask if you're drinking. Then it's loud. So what do you do when it's loud? You talk louder to be heard. So when the louder you talk, the more these aerosols come out. And you can have a ton of aerosols coming out with, if you're infected, that could float across the room. And then the person you're talking to says, what? So what do you do?
Aerosol.
You lean in. you lean in, right? You go, and now you're this close from their face. You're talking loudly because there's so much noise, and if you're infected, it's a problem.
Why are bars reopened when they're just COVID spread? Based on what science? Like, who says bars should be back?
Well, I mean, this is this friction, of course, because people have to have, people are desperate to open up their establishments, and what restaurants have closed, so many of them, bars have closed, but we really do have this window still we keep talking about. Before the fall, we expect to see a rise in cases in the fall. With the flu coming, cold weather coming, people going more indoors, more opportunity to infect each other. So it's the last few weeks, I hate to say it, last month or so, well, technically I know it's a little longer than that, but of summer. And if we just all band together and row in the same direction and wear our masks and do everything, and we get the numbers down, maybe we can all start to get back to a little bit more of a normal situation.
Well, that brings me to what I wanted to show you. Our amazing, basically tech.
And don't get jealous, because we'll send you one.
Yes, but this is a way to wear a mask, and also make sure people tune in at 8 p.m.
That's right.
One, a two, a three, reveal.
Oh my gosh!
David Katz, our tech guru, got that for us.
Did that. That is so great. Is it 2-ply?
No, we wear the filter when we go out.
Yeah.
Do you? But that's fantastic. That's great. And it should be cool. I was talking to the parents of a 5-year-old girl, and she's going to be going to school. And she's, they have it so that the mask is cool.
Yeah.
That, it's a new reality, right? That's like normal. And she was telling me also that somebody else was telling me that when her daughter, who's 3.5, comes to within like 6 feet of somebody else, she stops like it's an invisible wall. She's trained. So, it's great on one hand because they're adapting and it's great. It's a new normal. On the other hand, I worry about the long-term effects, of all this. We haven't seen the end of it psychologically.
Well, I mean, I was talking to, because Julie and my mom are, the reason why our dogs are going crazy is because my mom and Julie are up visiting my sister up in the Rochester area. And I was just talking to Julie, and she was like, we're going to take her into the city and see her friends, and of course she wants to hug them, and she's like, well, but we're wearing masks, and I mean, I know, and I said, I know that you're not alone, but it's like, it's really to be safe, even if you're outside, right, is to wear.
Yeah, well, the hugging is the physical contact, and I guess if Lindsay Marr, who's an aerosol scientist, she was talking about how if you put your head to the side, I mean, some people go back to back with the hug.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. If you've got virus on you, you can still spread it to somebody that way. You want to keep the virus away from the mouth, nose, and eyes. But, I mean, we're all desperate.
I know.
We're desperate for the hugs. And
we had a 45-minute discussion. I didn't even know if I was going to do the show because it was all about the need for a hug.
Yeah.
We talked about this, I think, Jason Howland, who did this wonderful, beautiful, and he did that wonderful You've Got a Friend piece that 60 artists did, and we put it on CBS this morning. But he said it's weird. I think it was 17 days at the time when I've been in my alone and I haven't had a hug in 17 days, or it was some relatively smaller number.
Yeah, wow. That point.
But when you hug, your oxytocin, the feel-good hormone, goes up. And so the oxytocin hormone not only makes you feel good, but it actually helps repair your immune system, which we need now. So bottom line, RX from this doctor. What the doctor ordered is hugs, but I don't know how to do it safely right now. Whenever.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dr. LaPoo.
Hug your dog. You can get oxytocin from looking at a dog. It's the only cross species. It doesn't happen with a cat. Sorry, cat lovers. You look at a dog, the oxytocin level goes up in the dog and in you when you make that eye contact. How crazy is that?
I believe it. We have 4 of them.
We believe it.
Oh, I love that. Wow. What a great ending. Thank you, Dr. LaPoo.
Bye.
David.
All of a sudden, our picture got crazy. So hopefully.
Wait a minute.
Right. We're so close.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Yeah, but David, you got to see all these crazy comments about these masks. David, we gotta have like a Stars in the House sales area.
Bring people on this close.
I cannot look at. Why are we so damn close? What did you do to me?
What happened? You went to go get the mask and everything got blurry because the camera adjusted, Seth.
But why am I now a giantess?
Because I changed something. I'm trying to change it again.
Okay, freakazoid.
I don't know what to tell you.
Annie to the who.
I'll try to change it while you're talking.
Okay, so
Seth, you've always been a giantess.
Thank you. All right, so Andrew, I guess we have to discuss.
Oh yes. Yes,
you were so back in the day. Oh wow, we have okay. So back in the day, Andrew and I were gigging. I was a sub piano player. We were, both playing on Broadway, but I was subbing. And Andrew was the keyboard 2 for Pat of the Pony on Broadway. By the way, I literally can't remember who was keyboard 1. I'm so mortified.
The wonderful Dick Gallagher.
It was Dick.
The director. Yeah.
See, I thought that at that point, I thought Joe Thalkin took over. So it was Dick. Oh, so the original. Okay, so Dick Gallagher was brilliant.
Joe became Patty's accompanist sometime after that. Friend has played for Patty for a long time. But for that show in 1995, Patty the Pony on Broadway, it was Dick Gallagher.
It was fantastic. John McDaniel did it first, and Dick Gallagher. Dick Gallagher's playing keyboard 1, Andrew's keyboard 2, and I was Andrew's sub. And Andrew was old school and never missed. And by the way, I was subbing on a crazy, old school synthesizer, not a real piano, crazy synthesizer. So Andrew was old school, never missed, except for he had to miss one day. Andrew, dear, what was the day that you actually had to miss?
So the only day I had to miss was a scheduled miss in October of 1995 was the day we were making the recording of John and Jen. And it was my first show ever recorded, and it was for most Broadway recordings, or many show recordings, especially small ones like ours, get done in a day. I don't know how we do it, but we schedule these crazy days, and the actor, and in this case for Carolee and for Jim, it's you were singing all day long. And we just did it. So that was the same day. So I asked Seth, "Are you available on whatever that day is?" Jim.
Not only that, I just want to say that the day that we recorded the album, how old was Zoe, Carolee?
I think a few weeks, right? Was it October?
You kept leaving the booth to feed her.
Yeah.
And you would come back and sing your face off, and then
Yeah.
Carmello.
It was the first time you were singing after having given birth.
Yes, for sure.
So they're trying to do this whole album one day where every minute is precious, and Andrew's needed on the floor in the recording booth. He has no time for anything. So I show up at the Broadway Theater. I'm like, oh my God, I love Pat of the Pony. I get to play. Let me turn on the synthesizer, as I've been doing every single day to practice, because you could practice at 6:30. Turned it on, and the synth was just like, wow, wow. I was like, it's not possible. I practice here. I know how to do this, and the synthesizer just wasn't working. I mean, it had never happened before. So I literally had to go to. By the way, I don't know if it was maybe even a cell phone. So it was literally like a giant.
No cell phones. I had given you, sorry to stop you, but I had given you the phone number, and I said, I'm super organized. And I said, you call me, I'll be at the studio. This is the number. If you need anything, you shouldn't need anything. But if you need anything, and you called me at the studio and you said,
the synthesizer's not working and the show is about to begin. Can you leave your recording session and come fix it, please?
And this is when I realized that Seth was a very funny man, and I thought clearly he's making a joke on look at another young one. Jim, what's your name?
This is Jake.
Hi, Jake.
You want to say hi, Jake?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Jake. We were just talking about somebody your age. Name's Zoe.
Hi, Jake. I hope you're enjoying the show.
Are you enjoying the show?
Yes.
Joe, you remember Pat of the Pony on Broadway, right? Back in '95.
Of course, he's listened to it over and over. And so we were fortunately on our dinner break. I ran from the studio at 57th and Broadway down to the Walter Kerr at 49th Street, and ran on stage and had to do a bunch of technical things with the synthesizer, and they had to hold the curtain. Remember, the stage manager was like, Andrew, are you going to be, how much longer are you going to be? And it was already 7:30. And I remember, I can't believe I had the chutzpah. I looked up and I said, George, do you want the show to be working or not? And he said, how many minutes? And I said, 5. And I'm literally tapping away on this thing, and Seth like, next to me, and it all got right. And I said, don't touch it, except touch it. And I ran back to the studio, and fortunately, I think dinner was just ending, and I was able to get back to finishing up the record.
Do we know what happened? Was it my magic touch that shut it down? Like, why did that happen?
No, I know what it was. It was a Korg M1, which is one of the early programmable synthesizers, and something strange. We never were able to figure it out with the programmer, which was who was Dan Sklar, by the way, who was actually the rabbi at my first wedding. And another long story. Very long story. Oh, lives near you, and it would jump through everything on the synthesizer. Would jump 3 octaves, and there was no global command. There was no way to say, "Hey, don't do that thing with everything." You had to go one by one through the 4, whatever it was. I think there were like 100 different patches that we used during the night, and you had to literally go da 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 da, get into the right key, transpose, lock, save. Down the next one, down, and you had to do that for all of them. Work your way through 1 through whatever number it was, and then go back to 1. You have it all preset for the top show, and make sure that it was all working, and then it was all working. That was crazy glitch. That was
devastating. It was so terrifying, and I kept thinking like I somehow did it, even though I was like, but all I did was turn it on. Oh my god. Okay, well, it's all good now.
You feel better.
What did I call you from then on? Like, Crash Radetsky or something like that?
Well, I have to say, Alan Cohen on Broadway is known as Shutdown Cohen. Do you know? You cannot call me. Anywho, okay, back to other people. Carolee, Carmello, I heard that we're going to hear a little mask, a little singing in the mask. Am I correct?
I don't know how much mask there'll be, but I'm going to sing a beautiful song by Tom Greenwald and Andrew Lippa.
Can you give us some background information on said song?
Well, this happens, this is called Just Like You. It happens in the second act. So Jen has grown up and had a child of her own, and she's visiting the grave of her brother, and she sings this song to him. I think that's all you need to know.
Okay, I'm removing myself with James.
Okay. Accompaniment by Andrew Lippa. Thank you so much. You should see this kid. It's frightening. The way he reminds me of someone I once knew. How he loves baseball and hates tomatoes. The way he sleeps with his arm tucked under his leg. It's so true. He sleeps just like you. You're completely in the shade now. It's amazing the way this tree grew. Things get so big, time flies away. Happy 32. I brought you a present. He looks just like you. Tomorrow he's going to camp. I can't deal with it. I barely ever let him out of my sight. I know that it's just the start. Now that he's growing up, leaving home, taking flight. You always talked back. You always fought back. You're not coming back. But I won't let my baby leave me too. I won't let him be just like you. Not like you. Happy birthday, little brother. Such a beautiful song.
You're so amazing.
You are amazing.
Hi, babe.
I remember when I saw Carolee Carmello in Urinetown. And
speaking of the mask,
I was reminded of how funny she is. And when we were casting the Addams Family, I was the one jumping up and down in the room going, we have to, Carolee Carmello, we have to, and everybody was like, is she funny? I'm like, she is really funny. and that kind of worked out. So
I love that. Now, by the way, speaking of funny, Jimmy Ludwig, how about this?
But you still said now 5 minutes ago that you were afraid I was going to end up looking like my mother.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, that's not what I said.
You
Why
said
did this happen to you? Are you sick of your friends and family getting everything you say all mixed up? Well, help has arrived.
Don't call me a liar.
I didn't say that.
Oh, no?
No.
Read back 5 minutes ago.
The Home Stenographer. Now for a small one-time fee plus minor upkeep, you can have your very own permanent record keeper right in your house.
How about that wave, huh? How about that hair?
What is that?
What kind of a minor upkeep does she need?
From Jimmy.
What's the backstory there?
She was a very nice woman. It's actually a really funny story because I had. This was years later after we'd closed the show, and I'd had a bad year. I'd had like a couple things that I'd gotten really close to and didn't get, and I'd lost some jobs, and I was really demoralized. And Pat McCorkle is a casting director of great note in the city, and she's a friend. And I just wandered into her office one day. I was in Midtown. I wandered in. I was like, Pat, should I leave the business? I can't book a job. And she was like, quiet. I have an audition for you for Chappelle. Are you available at? And I was like, sure. And I booked it. And that's the premiere episode of the Chappelle show. It's the
really amazing.
How did you guys know about that?
What's that?
Seth and James, how did you guys know about that piece?
How did I know about it? I do my research before people come on my damn show.
Really impressive.
Come on.
Research. Did anybody notice this little?
Yeah.
That was very, very nice touch.
Thank you.
You got me. Very nicely done.
I got to talk to Carolee for a second. Carolee,
yes.
So I've done so many one-offs with Carolee. And how scary was it when you did my Funny Girl concert for the Actors Fund, where there was a different Fanny Bryce every scene, and it was like Seth Foster, Dina was Lily White, and literally you were the last one. Were you in a panic for 2 hours?
Yes, definitely. I was pacing in this big dressing room that we all shared, and one by one, these ladies were going out and like bringing the house down, and I was just in the dressing room, like putting more and more lipstick on for 2 hours, and just my heart rate racing and racing and racing. It was a nightmare, and I was shaking when I got out there. I don't know how I managed to sing, but that was an amazing night.
It was amazing.
Did you do the show in order? You sang the music that makes me dance?
It was the full show with all the scenes, and every Fanny Bryce was different. And she was, well, I just happen to have a clip. This is her version of Being Nervous. By the way, Jimmy Ludwig, not since, I don't have a voice tonight. This is Carolee Nervous. So let's have a little look.
Standing ovation.
Can I tell you guys something? And Carly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember this very clearly. That you one time told me that you have never had a singing lesson in your life. That's true, right?
That's true.
That's annoying. First of all, Carolee, we literally took a picture of you watching it because we could see it, and you were literally just like this the whole time. It happened already. You don't have to be nervous anymore.
I know. Mess it up.
What does it feel like watching that? That was an amazing performance because really the pressure was on. You were the last singer. I mean, that was crazy pressure.
Yeah, and the extra pressure was the staircase. So I had a little scene before the song, and then it was, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Fanny Brice, and I had to climb up the staircase. And then at the end of it, I had to climb down the staircase in the spotlight, just feeling with my shoes, like, where's the edge? Please don't fall. The whole thing was a nervous breakdown, but I was lucky to be a part of it. What an amazing group you assembled.
I remember you came to my apartment because Andrew, I think you had recommended Julia to me. You and Gordon Greenberg were like, you should use Julia.
People, right?
So Julia came over and I gave her People and she was unbelievable. But Carolee, you came over because I first thought of you to do People. But I remember thinking, actually, your voice sits so high. Music Makes Me Dance is so hard because you have to hit that D sharp and the E. Remember, you were in my apartment, you belted it for me.
And I'm sure you were like, can you do it higher?
I cut you off mid-song and took it up a step. Anyway, in conclusion, Andrew Lippa, I hear you're providing us with a little music and singing.
I will play. I'm going to turn a little bit. You'll get me in profile. Thank you for inviting me to do this. And this is a song that Carolee should be singing, but it's one of the songs Tom mentioned in the earliest incarnations of the show, and one that I sometimes think about. I often think about when I'm working on a song in a show now, and something's wrong with the song, and sometimes something that can be wrong with the song is just the general feel of it or the accompaniment of it or how it spins out at you. It's not actually the words or the music. And this was one of those examples. I changed the whole accompaniment to it, and it sort of gave it a different life and stayed in the show because of it, I think. So, and Jim, if you feel like it, I am gonna go, this is when Jen goes off to college. And when sister Jen now. Are you gonna miss me, John?
No way.
Not even a little bit, John.
No way.
Come visit me at college.
Can't I come with you today?
Hold down the fort, John. Take care of things while I'm gone. Do your homework, have some fun. And when you want to hit something, hit a home run. Hold down the fort, hotshot. Show the world what you've got. Start to learn what life's about. And when you want to throw something, throw someone out. Hold down the fort. Hold down the fort. Your You're so strong and you just started growing. So remember the one thing worth knowing. Where you come from is no place like where you're going. Hold down the fort, John. Take care of things while I'm gone. Don't stay out late. Keep your head. And when the world is against you, and when you feel like exploding, and when you want to play tough guy, play baseball instead. Just play baseball, Johnny, as hard as you can, and hold down the fort, kid brother. Hold down the fort, young man. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Well,
and such great
Tom,
comments.
what are you going to sing?
Exactly. Andrew, everybody loved it. Look, that's Ress. Carolee. It was actually this. And I totally agree.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Hey, speaking of Carolee, I'm texting you one more. I just got some before we go. Let me just I got
a few more.
Yeah, I don't want to take the show too long, but just read your little phone.
Okay.
Amazing.
Joey and Di from Michigan sent in $25. Thank you so much. Randy from Ohio, $25. That's amazing. And from the hippie artist, Big Sister of a Little Brother in the Army. Oh my goodness. Thank you for all this beautiful, painful stuff. Casey in New York City, $25. Wow. Huh. Yeah, I mean, the show, even if you're not a hippie Big Sister, the show is so relatable on so many levels, and gets, like Jimmy said, gets done all over the place. I constantly have people telling me at the stage, or, oh my God, we did, John and Jen in my college, or I did it for you too. Yeah.
I love that.
Such a beautiful show.
Yeah. You guys, what a great evening.
Jim, speaking of college, what college did you go to?
University of Michigan.
Oh,
You gonna be okay without a football season this year, Jimmy?
I may not survive.
Yeah, me neither. Anyway, all right, guys.
On that note,
yeah. So tomorrow, by the way, we have another reunion, not John and Jen, but a singular name. We have the original cast of Carrie, the musical. That's right. I know, and the writers too. So cannot wait for that. You guys, everyone's got to come back. Lippa, we got to do a Wild Party reunion. Adam's Family. Carolee, we got to do a City of Angels ensemble reunion. What?
have you guys done a Spamalot reunion yet? We should get Spamalot.
No, we haven't. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Maybe think of it, because Howell was our lighting designer as well.
Anyway, everything. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, I'll email you. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Andrew. We don't have any exit music while we play the credits. Can you play a little underscoring while we play these credits?
Oh, sure. What's that?
So patriotic for John.
That's the worst music I think I've ever played. Really bad. I mean, I've never played that. I don't know. I can do that.
Wait a second. Play it loud. There goes Greenwald's name. Play it.
Greenwald. With